Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, you all. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. This is Kristi, Saul, the co-founder of the Post+Institute, coming at you live for tonight's episode of Post Daily Dose. I hope you guys are having a fabulous evening. Hey, Leslie, how's it going? It popped up that you're watching. You didn't even have to say hi. I hope that you and your family are having a fabulous evening and that you have something, whatever you have planned for the holiday. I hope that it's amazing. So I wanted to plug these books real quick. From Fear to Love by Brian+Post, that you can get on promotion, and The Great Behavior Breakdown. Both incredible books. feartolovebook.com is where you can find this. You can find this one at postinstitute.com. It's also part of the upsell if you go through the promotion that we have for this book right here. So I'll put the feartolovebook.com link up in the description. I don't know what I have tonight. I have nothing. I wanted to come on and tell you all that I hope you have a lovely holiday. I wanted to tell you all how much I love and appreciate you guys. We are actually, you're going to be seeing some, oh good, Pam, I'm glad you have both of them. That's great. I actually have somebody who's working actively to get the workbook that was created. We have a brand new workbook that Brian created for this book, and we're working to get it up on the Amazon print on demand. So we should have that soon, and that might be a really cool addition. This is not a light workbook. It will take you through some good, deep processes, and so it will be well worth it. Hey, Carrie, how are you? So yeah, I have no topic tonight, except that I hope that you guys are having a lovely Thanksgiving Eve. I'm going to tell you a nice story, though. I heard from a dear friend of mine who I did some coaching with their family over the course of about 2 years while their boys were in the early teens. Well, actually, I think it's probably longer than that now that I think about it, because I talked with them and worked with them all the way up to just before their senior year in high school. And now these boys are, well, I'm just going to share just a little bit. So they thought about working with a lot of different people, and they happen to be in a location where they physically live, where there's a lot of attachment gurus and a lot of different attachment theories and ways of working with children who've come from challenging backgrounds. And a lot of it, at that time, this was a while back, but a lot of what they were hearing was about forced holding and very rigid consequences. Of course, a lot of connection, but the way to address behavior was through these super rigid consequences, room stripping, things like that, and it just didn't resonate with them. And then they found the Post+Institute, and they did lots of different studies with us, and then they also did some private coaching with me, and they went through it, and they were extremely creative in the teen years, which is something I really appreciated about this family. The dynamics were interesting, and one of the parents had to travel a lot and be gone a lot for work, and so every time that parent came back into the home, it created a lot of disruption, and it was hard for them to find their flow in their teen years. So the solution that they had was actually the person who traveled a lot, when they would be in town, instead of staying at home, they would get a nice hotel, and the other person would come and visit them at the hotel while the boys were at school. So they were very creative that's what was so cool. They really thought outside of the box. They really noticed how the in and out of this parent was causing, it wasn't a bad thing. They weren't doing anything wrong. It was just the organic nature of what their lifestyle was, with one parent traveling a lot for work. And so I just loved how creative they were in identifying the disruption and identifying a solution. And now they would, this parent, the other parent would come and like have dinner or something like that. There would be connection and engagement, but it was just too disruptive for them to come back and be home for 3, 4, 5 days and then be gone for another 2, 3 weeks. And so I thought that was such a cool, creative idea for the well-being of the entire family. So I had those happy tears today because I hadn't heard from him in probably a year, and the boys are out of high school, and I knew that. I knew they, and there were moments when they didn't know if they were going to make it. If they were going to make it out of high school. These kids were talking about they hated school, they wanted to quit school, blah, 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 blah. There was some time the boys had to be away from home for a little bit to help them calm down. And anyway, here we are, and they've been out of high school for, I guess, about 3 years now. One of their sons is in college, and the other son is in the Marines, and they're doing incredible. They're doing incredible. I'm sure that there's struggles, life struggles happen. And that doesn't mean that if your child's not in college or in the Marines or doing this or doing that they're not making it. I'm telling you, that statistic that children who come from traumatic backgrounds contemplate suicide 4 times more likely than children who do not. That's real. And so, making it just means making it. We're just living. We're just surviving. If we have spaces that we're thriving, and everybody thrives in a different way. There's not one size fit all for thriving. Just because somebody goes to college isn't like, oh, they're thriving. Maybe they are, and that's awesome. But, if your child's just making it, then that's great. So I just wanted to share a Thanksgiving. I know that they're very thankful. That's a very thankful family, that knowing their journey. I love it when I get to hear those stories, when people reach out after I hadn't heard from them for 3 or 4 years, and they're like, hey, by the way, that time we spent together really made a difference, and we're making it. I had a mom about 3 months back reach out, and she said, you gave me some gold we had a very short time that we did coaching. She really gave me some gold that opened up a pathway to just really relate to my child instead of being so scared. Those later years in high school get so tenuous, and all the pressure. And so it was the same time frame. And so she said, it really helped. It helped us make it through, just because once I relaxed, once I reduced the anxiety, 50% of the stress that's coming into any situation is yours. We all are. That's just the truth. Your child may be contributing 50%, but you're contributing the other 50%. So when you take responsibility for that and you can dial it down a little bit, then you can start helping them make those shifts too. So for someone who had nothing to say tonight, look at me just going on and on. So I hope that you guys are ready to relax and enjoy your family. I know there's a lot of people, myself included, we have a very different plan than usual because of the pandemic. And so I'm going to get to spend a little bit of time with my parents and my brother. And then I'm going to be bringing dinner home to Marley, because Marley reminds me, Mom, we are in a pandemic and I'm not going to risk my health. It's just not worth it, Mom. And so I love her and respect her for that. There's something especially sweet for me about the holidays, because my dad's been very sick over the last couple of years. He's had a couple of strokes and a couple of significant infections. And I call it, people, I don't know if you guys have heard of the sandwich generation. I was so surprised when someone had said, I don't know what you're talking about. So I'll explain. The sandwich generation is when you're still actively parenting and you're also really involved with the care of your parents. And so I am in the sandwich generation. And I call it, it's like peanut butter and jelly. And it's like peanut butter and jelly on a field trip. You know how you pull that sandwich out after it's been warm, it's all gushy and it's so worn out, you know, something happens magical in that plastic bag and the jelly starts to wear through the bread, and so it doesn't look very pretty. But when you bite into it, oh my goodness, something about the fact that it's a little bit warm just makes it that much sweeter. And so these holidays this year just have a certain element of sweetness to them. I want to encourage you guys not to take those precious moments for granted. And yet, at the same time, taking something for granted in a way is like the ultimate compliment. Like when my daughter takes for granted that she's going to be taken care of, that she's loved, that she has a safe place, and that she can take that for granted in a way that is literally the highest compliment to me as a parent. So I'm okay with that. So, you know, I hope you take a little something out of it as I just ramble on and on about these holidays. I find gratitude, you know, we can get really cheesy about be optimistic and be positive, and yet it takes a lot of effort to continually renew your mind. And it's okay to know where you are emotionally and feel your feelings, and then actively choose one thought over another whenever we possibly can. And so, you know, our brains are, I think of that game, you know, where the balls all fall down, right? They fall down and it falls on one lane or another, and it tells you how much money they're going to win. So I think about that. I use that image in my mind. Only our thoughts have these grooves. They have these grooves from all of our experiences. And so that's why we have these neural pathways, and our thoughts will tend to flow down a certain pathway. And so it takes a great deal of effort to notice that and then to actively choose. That's what I think is referred to as the renewing of our mind, the active choosing of gratitude, the active pursuit of being able to see something positive, the active pursuit of, I don't want to like elevating our vibration, but not in that sense of like if I feel really bad and then I try to leap over to feeling really good. That's not always very effective, but sometimes you can just gently nudge the knob just up just a little bit, just a tiny bit. So I know that emotions can run really high during the holidays. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep it simple. Doesn't have to be perfect. I know we love all the food and it all tastes so good, but really, you know, if you burn the pumpkin pie, it's going to be all right. If the macaroni and cheese comes out lumpy and clunky, that's okay too, because really we're just there to spend a little bit of time together. And so be safe, love your loves, and remember, keep your kids close, keep an eye on them. This will be the potential of a bit of stress for them. Anything out of their normal routine will be potentially stressful, and for some kids there may be grief, and it may manifest itself in different ways. And just this one question, just this one sweet little question, when you start feeling something, whatever's going on, because we know if it's not love, it's fear, right? And so if you start feeling their little energetic vibrations, they start getting a little crabby or a little weepy or whatever, however it comes out in their emotions, just to ask them, baby, what's going on? What is it you're thinking about? Was there a thought that came from your mind, or did somebody say something, or did something happen that hurt your feelings? Just to, invite that little quiet moment of conversation to let them know that you notice them. Even if there's a lot of other stuff going on, that there's plenty of you, and you notice them, and you'll never forget that they're there and that they're important to you. Just that little simple question. And they may say, why? Why do you ask? And you can just say, well, because I know that the only time you act like that is when something's got you upset. And so I just want to make sure I noticed, and we can talk about it later, or you can just come sit by me. So keep them close, keep an eye on them, keep your finger on their pulse. And if it comes time to leave, then it's okay, because this is the season of our life where we're focused on parenting our children. And if they exceed their window of tolerance, or you feel them bumping up against it, or maybe you feel yourself bumping up against your window of stress tolerance. And so when it's time to go home, it's okay. You don't have to be the one who stays last. You can even be the one who leaves first if that's what you and your family need to do. So happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourselves. And remember what Brian tells us: in any given moment, we can act out of those same blueprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm. And trust me, I know that when we get with our family, sometimes we slip back into the roles that we played in that family. You know, when we get around our parents, sometimes we shift from being the mom in charge of our family to feeling like that child. That's real. So, you know, stay connected to yourself, stay present for your children. And, you know, if it gets time to go home, go home. And remember that one breath, just catch that one breath first. And once you get the first big breath, the second one comes a lot easier. And then the third, you'll feel your body relax. And from that place, you can choose love. And so, God bless you all. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow or not. I don't know. I know my day is going to be really simple, so I'll probably hop on just to say hi. And anybody who wants to chat it up, maybe share our stories of how the day went, that'll be cool. We love you guys, and we think of you as family as well. So happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for you. You are part of what I thank God for. Good night. Stay blessed.